I'm Zenanda Gisa, and I'll be presenting about investigating the impact of social media in crisis communication at the DurbanUniversity of Technology. But just before I take you through my study, I'd like to share what was quite interesting that took place yesterday during graduation. So before you join the position, everyone has to respond as per the norm. But there were some of our colleagues who said that they had communicated via WhatsApp that they would join the position. It then became a problem within the venue, which then relates to my study, the impact of social media in crisis communication. So my problem statement reads as follows. The use of social media has become a critical tool in crisis communication, offering real-time updates, information dissemination, and engagement with affected parties. However, at the DurbanUniversity of Technology, the effectiveness of social media platforms in managing and mitigating crisis remains unclear. In times of emergencies such as student protest, safety threats, or campus disruptions, it is essential to understand how social media is utilized by the university and its stakeholders, and whether it helps or hinders the communication process. So, the aim of the study is to investigate the impact of social media and crisis communication at the DurbanUniversity of Technology. So the objectives are as follows: to determine which social media platforms are most effective in reaching the university community, including students, staff, and stakeholders. To identify the primary challenges and limitations faced by university in using social media for crisis communication, and explore issues related to misinformation, digital illiteracy, and access to despair among the university population. Third point, to examine the level of engagement and interaction between the university's communication team and the community during crisis, and the effectiveness of the feedback mechanisms and the responses of the university to the community concerns expressed via social media. Moving to investigate how social media use during the crisis affects the public perception of the university crisis management capabilities. And then lastly, to measure the impact of social media communications on trust, confidence in the university's ability to handle emergencies. So when I was going through the literature, and then I discovered the research gap from what has been published by other scholars. So while there is a growing body of literature in social media and crisis communication in South African companies and universities, but not so much is being said about the impact of social media and crisis communication at universities. Hence, my study primarily focuses to DUT. My investigation could fill in this gap by contributing valuable insights to a broader academic discourse on social media roles in crisis communication. So I have identified two theories that I felt best match my study, which was situational crisis communication theory, developed by W. Collins. So this theory provides a framework of understanding how organizations should communicate during a crisis, based on the type and severity of the crisis. Application to the study. It will help in analyzing how DUT can tailor its social media communication strategies depending on the nature of the crisis, such as natural disaster, internal conflicts, etc. and to manage public perception. And then the second one was diffusion of innovation theory, proposed by Rogers, which explains how new ideas and technologies spread through population. So, application to my study, explore how social media is used and adopted by different segments at DUT during the crisis. So, the methodology that I used for my study. Initially, I wanted to use the quantitative, but looking at what I was going through, what I was reading, I was not going to get appropriate response at the end of the study, which then forced me to adopt the mixed method. So, as you can see, for quantitative methods, the questionnaires will be distributed to students and staff. And then the qualitative methods, primarily I was looking at the people who encode the messages, or should be encoding the messages, which would be your communications team, the senior director for corporate affairs, and the student representative, primarily the SRC president and the communication officer, as I believe. Contributions and conclusion. So this research will contribute to both academic body of knowledge and the practical implementation by offering a roadmap for improving social media-based crisis communication, not only to DUT, but in higher education institutions across South Africa and beyond. The findings and recommendation will serve as a valuable resource for university administrators, communication professionals seeking to enhance their crisis response capabilities in the digital era we live in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zinake.